This episode is sponsored by longtime supporters of the pod, Airbnb. Today, we are recording from a beautiful Airbnb in the mountains of California that I found by visiting guest favorites. See, this is what I mean when I say some trips are better in an Airbnb. Now, let's get rolling.
People want more of you. They want more of your life.
They want
more.
it.
Like, they want to feel in touch and in tune with you. And part of me was just like, no, do they really? No, do they? Like, do I want that?
I don't want to give you bullshit. I don't want to give you bitter ass tea.
I'm not Mother Teresa in this, but I'm like, I care.
Yeah. Wait a minute. People actually want me to be like, I'm the boss of this and set some stuff straight.
We crave discipline. We crave order. We crave like knowing a direction.
We are in this very fabulous Airbnb for the holiday season up in Big Bear. Sharon, are you feeling the vibe?
Yes, honey.
How excited are you for our holiday vacation with the fam?
I am so excited to not do anything.
I mean, guys,
because we've had a whirlwind year. It's a blessing.
And every year we do something as a family. We go somewhere together for Christmas or for also New Year's. Sometimes both. This year we're doing a fun little Christmas moment in Big Bear because my sister L'Oreal said up and down that she needed us to go somewhere cold this holiday. She was like, no more tropical places.
Yes, because last year we were in Antigua. Which was really fun. But before we move on, I just want to say congratulations to you for best-selling author, New York Times best-selling author. Yay! I had to say that.
I live for you, girl. Thank you, boo.
Say that. Master of Me. Everyone go get a copy. It's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. There's so much going on with that after the holidays that we have coming. Tours. Just more experiences to create around self-mastery. You know how much that is important to me.
Yes. But this Big Bear is so beautiful.
It is.
We were driving up and saw the lake, and it's just really
so nice.
It lets you know there is a God.
Okay, when you're definitely looking at all this beauty, this view.
Yeah.
So shout out to Airbnb, shout out to Big Bear.
Yes.
Now I want to get into Issa Rae, but I also want to get into a little bit of the holidays. Just quickly, how are you feeling about coming to the year's end? Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Anything you want to get ready for? I mean, this has been a crazy year, Sharon.
Yeah, I think first of all, I'm so thankful for last year. So I have to say thank God that my family was healthy. The kids are healthy. Little Leo is growing up and getting taller, and Lily and all of my grandbabies. I just I never do that resolution thing.
I don't really either. I try, but
yeah, I always lose weight. No, I'm good.
Mom, you're crazy.
I mean, I'll never. You know what though? I do want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not necessarily about losing weight.
That's real talk. I want to eat for energy. You know what I mean? I want to find out what foods would actually give me energy. But what do I want to do? I just want to continue to, just be healthy and see my grandbabies and my kids grow, and that's it. I mean, just very simple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel similarly. I just want to incorporate even more balance into my life as it pertains to I'm a very ambitious person. You know that I love to, set goals for myself, and it gets me excited for the year to have something to look forward to. But as we've incorporated more vacation time, more time as a family, that also is equally important to me, and having that balance throughout my year. And so I think every year I keep getting better with that, and so I want to keep on that road.
That's awesome because, you work so hard, and you should have moments to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right?
That's right.
So if you're always on the go, always entertaining other people, always being a people pleaser and making sure everybody else is good, that's not good for you. So yeah, definitely let's find the balance.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, well, with that, let's get into our girl, Issa Rae. Who is so fabulous. I've really gotten a chance to get to know her over the course of one of them days and getting to actually see who she is as a producer and a writer. On the set of one of them days, just watching her keep the pace on set, be ready to always shift gears to make things funner, better, to collaborate with her team in real time.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about her. I noticed she's very witty.
Yeah.
Very sharp, very witty, very funny, great with the one-liners. And I watched her as she would be watching the monitor, and then she'd have an idea and she'd physically get up and run, and collaborate with you. And it was just really a great thing to watch, you women working and getting along, and it was awesome.
And I think something about her and something about anybody that has leadership, you can nitpick all day, but it's not easy to be a leader. It's not easy to take all the punches. It's not easy to have to course correct. And so seeing her do that in real time and us to get to the end of the finish line, I do applaud her because it was not easy. We did that movie in 20 days. Now, a lot of what I want to talk about with Issa is also having to do with the fact that she is a star in front of the camera. Like, regardless of all the great work she's done behind the scenes, from creating Awkward Black Girl to creating Insecure and everything in between. I even seen Dear White People recently and saw her doing a little part in that. I was like, dang, Issa been grinding. But she's a star of one of the most iconic shows of my generation.
Right. And why is that?
Why is the show iconic?
I'm asking you that because I'm a totally different generation.
Sure.
And I enjoyed the show and I liked it, but I'm not going to say it was for my generation.
Yeah.
But what was it about your generation? Like, for me, my generation was,
living single.
Living single. Yeah, I was a young woman. I was like maybe in my late 20s, maybe 28, something like that for living single.
Sure.
I say when I was a teenager, it has to be like The Cosby Show, something like that. Those were iconic shows that changed the culture.
Yeah.
What is it about Insecure that you feel did that for you?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the shows that you would mention, they're multicam sitcom. So I think that Issa Rae took those elements of multicam sitcom and applied it to single cam, which is something that was really aesthetically pleasing, especially for a Black show. Like, up until that point, it had to be like Girlfriends or something like that.
Explain that. Is because I'm not. Is it like a lot of different cameras?
So multicam sitcom would be Girlfriends. It would be Living Single. It would be 30 minutes or less.
And they had multiple cameras from different angles.
Multiple cameras, different angles.
Got
you got the laugh track in the back, which is iconic. Classic. This is in no way saying that we need to, go away from that. But it is to point out that I think Issa Rae, if I'm giving you a starting point on its impact, is that it was one of the most popular shows that we also saw doing single cam with Black nuanced characters with a real specific decision to make amazing cinematic aesthetic choices in terms of cinematography.
That's pretty good.
Like all the space
great.
in between the actors that gave more impact to the narrative of what was going on. It definitely was huge in terms of leaps and bounds of, representation in the art form. So that's one end of it, I personally think.
So the technical side of it, I
think it inspired a lot. The creator, I think, inspired a lot of people to start shooting like that. So I think aesthetically, it gave an opportunity to view into Black representation in television in a way that we hadn't all the way seen, because it really had a pulse on the things that we were talking about and going through. There are universal truths about coming of age and coming of age between 20 to 30.
Yeah.
On your way to 40. The growing pains of the loss of innocence, of I'm actually not going to have a picture perfect, but I got to choose joy in the way that's best for me.
Yeah.
I've got to figure out what my path is. And again, there's a universal truth of growing pains. But I think the part that if it did or didn't alienate you or someone of another generation, it would be because it was also specific on what was happening with us.
Yeah.
Which was, the social media, the way that we were dating and going out. Also is specific to LA. So either you love LA and you love it for that, or you like to know what they doing in LA.
And you touched on something too, because I don't think my generation, like I was in high school from like 1982 to 84, 85. And we didn't have a show like Insecure. We did have a lot of sitcoms. And, we gravitated to the sitcoms. And I know for me, when I was about maybe like 17 or 18, I saw a show called Moon. And this is one of the reasons why Bruce Willis, I'm just such a huge fan of Bruce Willis. Because when I saw Moonlighting, it was a show called Moonlighting. It was the way they shot it, the rhythm of the show, the way he talked. It just was fantastic to me. I had never seen any show like that, and I became an instant fan. And
I never seen that show.
You should see it. I don't know if it was. It's an hour show. It was a detective show. It was about a model, Sybil Shepherd, who lost her money. One of her business managers ran off with her money, and so she had to go over all her assets. And one of the assets that she had was this detective agency. And so she's like, okay, this is all I got. So she went in to see the employees, and he was one of the employees. And he was just a hot mess. But the things he was saying and the jokes he was making and the rhythm of it and the way it was filmed and it was just a really great show. And I think for my generation, that was a show that really changed the way we watch television. Obviously, we discovered Bruce Willis.
And I think that Issa Rae's show, and it's funny because I feel like the Bernie Mac show, who also was collaborated by the same person that collaborated with Issa Rae on Insecure, Larry Wilmore, he did something different for the sitcom world when he did the Bernie Mac show, the way that looked, the way that vibe was.
Absolutely.
But even still, I think they did something, even more, I guess I would say progressive with Insecure, because they tackled the reality that life doesn't get resolved in 30 minutes or less.
No.
And I think that's what we love about sitcoms, but that also can be something that you don't love about multicam sitcoms or sitcoms in general. It's like, things don't get finished in 30 minutes or less. At the end of the episode, sometimes I don't get to sit with comfort. And that's what Insecure would. It would make you sit with discomfort at times. You had to wait to the next episode. That's why people would have watch parties and all this kinds of stuff.
Maybe I might have to go back. I did. Yeah. I watched the first season and then I kind of tailed off.
She mentioned me in the first season because she had this job that she hated. Her character had this job that she hated. And she was like, maybe we should just tell the kids that Keke Palmer is coming. And even if she doesn't show up, we can just apologize later. And I was like, what? I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Cool. But so I'm excited to talk to her about the reality that also on the show, she's Issa Dee. And her real name is Issa Rae.
Wow.
And so how often and how much of herself she put into the show, how much she didn't. Because I do think there's a meta art thing going on in our millennial generation in general where being close to your character is almost, seen as a must.
Yeah. Well, have you ever played a character that really was very, very similar to you? I know you get this question a lot. But, the
one that was closest to me, I would say, would be True Jackson VP, working at a grown-up job, never really knowing I could work that hard. Because that's what I've always been doing as a kid entertainer. Like, True Jackson VP had a job as a fashion designer. I had a job as being a star of my own TV show.
Right.
And we both had to figure out how to manage the responsibility of that. And so I grew up with the character True. Just as much as I was growing up in my personal world and figuring out who I want to be and how to maintain my goals and chasing my dreams. But obviously, I'm not True. You know what I mean? But that's the most, I think that character I identify with a lot.
Yeah.
I
would say that as well. Let's say if I were actors, everybody always say that I remind them of this character on Good Times. This is an old TV show.
Willona?
Yes. Everybody's like, you're the loudmouth neighbor, Willona.
The funny thing about you is that you're actually not a loudmouth neighbor. Like you have somebody has to come to your house for you to get loudmouth.
Yes.
Like you will get into some stuff with folks, but it takes a second to get there. You can be so reserved.
But isn't that funny though, how some people see you one way and other people see you another way? I'm often put in a box. People often categorize me as this, Mama Bear, you better leave Keke alone. She will attack. And I'm like, well, I will attack, but I don't attack for no reason. You know what I mean? I'm not just this crazy woman running around cussing people out. It's not like that. I really have to be provoked. And I sit and watch you for a while. I'm a Virgo. So Virgos sit back and we watch and we observe. But I think when it comes to
your people say that, even though I know you don't like the Mama Bear, I think people say the Mama Bear thing because maybe a lot of people aren't doing that as moms. I don't know. Yeah. But like your trigger point is your kids. I don't care if it's me, L'Oreal. I mean, remember you cussed out the archdiocese when they was being racist towards her at the private school. So you don't have any problem doing something when it comes to your kids.
I just think
I love that about you.
Thank you. I just think sometimes people need to know that you have their back. And I think as a parent, you should let your kids know you have their back no matter what the situation is. No, do not hold them. If they're criminals and they're doing crazy stuff, you should hold them accountable.
That's right.
Don't ever raise kids that don't have accountability. But what I'm saying is when they're hurting, when things are wrong or going bad for them, you should be there for them to let them know you got their back.
That's right.
And if you're not there, who else will be for them? So I do feel sorry for people who don't have that type of relationship with their parents and stuff. But I'm not going to apologize for caring about my fucking kids. I'm sorry.
That's right. I love that. I don't know how we got there, but I did love the speech. Okay, I'm excited to get into this with Issa, see how much she is like Issa Dee or if she's really simply just Issa Rae.
Baby, this is Keke.
You know my next guest from her iconic, groundbreaking HBO series, Insecure. Since then, she's continued to do amazing things like American Fiction, Barbie, has endless Emmy, Golden Globe nominations, also has an amazing restaurant, Somerville, that I need to get me a seat to go eat at, and of course, her wine company, Via Rae. You know it's my girl, Issa Rae. Hey, boo!
Hey, what's up, Keke?
You know, everything is good. I'm living a good life because I've gotten to see you back to back days because we're doing all this press for our new movie, One of Them Days. How are you
One of
feeling?
them days. I'm so excited that we got here. I was telling you yesterday, like, this has been a long journey. And props to you because you've been here since the beginning and so much has happened since then for you. Like, you are already doing big things, but I feel like your star has just risen on a massive scale. And you still stayed down. You still stayed committed to making this. So I'm
You
grateful and
already
happy.
know. I mean, I've been watching you not only in front of the camera, but I get to see a close up view of you as a producer. I mean, you've been producing, you produced Insecure. I mean, so many different things with Hooray Media, but I'm thinking, how different or exciting has this particular situation been with One of Them Days? I mean, it's Sony Pictures. It's a really big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, this is different. Producing on Insecure, I mean, so much of it was mine and it was like the TV system. And I had a good mentor in Prentice. This was different, a different beast because real shit, they'll be like, this the money you're gonna get and this the time you're gonna get, make it work. And that's
Yeah.
different in that like there's almost no communication. It's not no communication.
Yeah.
It's like there's no bargaining and you are
That's
fighting to
right.
prove yourself at every level. And it was fun. Parts of it were fun, the development process, but there's also like on the TV side, there's a trust of your voice and your expertise while they still know what works in television. But on the studio side, they're like, we know that these things work. We have to hit these marks. And if not, your
Yeah.
movie not gonna be made. So it's like it's different. I learned a lot, and it's helped me even as I'm writing my own movies right now, and like what I'm looking at and understanding, and even seeing, previews and that whole process. You don't get that on TV. You don't get to test your pilot in front of a real audience and make
Yeah.
adjustments. So all of that is interesting.
I love what you said about the creativity because one of the comments that I love the most, and I think it's a testament to your creative vision, is before they even saw Issa Rae name come up on One of Them Days trailers, they were like, this is the Issa Rae production. So I'm curious because obviously this is one of to me, the groundbreaking things about Insecure. Not only the narrative storytelling, but also the look and the feel. It broke barriers to me in terms of, breaking us out of that, everyday 30-minute sitcom vibe and look and giving us all this different just like cinematic element to television. So growing from that beginning of that show to where you are now, how would you describe your aesthetic for your brand of shows or movies, and how did you develop it?
Thank you for that. It's the
You're
collaborative
welcome.
process. Like I take it as a high compliment. And, like for Insecure, the look was set by Melina Matsukis, and she's a phenomenal
Shout outs to
director.
Melina.
Shout out to Melina. And she's, she comes from the music video world. She's super notices everything, like just every single detail, every color, every wallpaper, every bathroom tile. Like that's her. And then we worked with Ava Perkovsky, who has who was our cinematographer on Insecure and joined us for this
On One
movie.
of Them
So she
Days. Yep.
has such a great eye. And in that way, like my aesthetic is just like I love LA so much. This is an LA movie, LA set movie. And so that's always gonna be a character and pronounced. But generally, I think it's a feel. Like, this is a movie about female friendship.
Yeah.
It's a movie about, I mean, gentrification, all things that we've touched on, and there's maybe a sense of humor that people might
Yeah.
associate with me, but it's so collaborative, as you know.
I love that. I love to hear that. Shout out to all those people because you're right. It is a team, and I definitely feel like you have an amazing team. I feel like it's probably the same people that you've been working with since the beginning. Would you say?
For the most part, yeah. Some people I found along the way, but like some of the talent and stuff, like Sarita, who wrote the movie, we've been knowing each other since before Insecure, and Lawrence I met along the way, but he worked with me on rap. So it's just
Yeah.
you get the people you know, and then you find new people who are just like, oh, you're so good, like join a clique. Let's make something together.
Yeah. I feel like in our generation, there's this big meta art thing that I feel like I've been like looking at. And what I mean by that is I don't know if it's because of reality TV or if it's just because of social media, but we always feel like our life is directly reflecting the art. And I know you speak a lot about how you use your own personal stories, a part of Insecure, whether they were your stories or friends or what was around you. And so I'm curious in the process of that, how you made sure to not overexpose yourself or feel like you're being overexposed in terms of creating this character that is Issa Dee and still maintaining to be Issa Rae.
What a good question. And I wonder the same for you. Like I I navigated that, and we went through this era where it was just like people want more of you. They want more of your life.
They want
more.
it.
Like they want to feel in touch and in tune with you. And part of me was just like, no, do they really? No, do they? Like, do I want that? Am I ready for that? And especially, I think I saw early on with Insecure in those seasons, spoiler alert, my character cheats on her man. And like the hate that I got as myself, I was just like, dang, people are having trouble distinguishing me, like getting called a cheater on the streets. I'm like, it's a story, please. And I was taking that a little bit personally. But like that, that was interesting to me, where I was like, oh, I have to be super intentional about like what I share about myself. I like that people are upset with this character. There's a visceral reaction. But I don't want people to conflate me with what they see and overly think they know me, because like everybody thinks you're their best friend in so many ways. And I know that has to be like you have to create those boundaries. And it's a high compliment in some ways, but yeah, it's rough.
I asked that question because I do feel like we're both similar. Maybe it's the earth sign energy, but it's like I do put myself in my work because I want to explore these conversations. It's not because I'm ashamed or I have, I want to be seen as perfect, but it's also because I feel like art is the best place to do that. I don't feel like it's appropriate for me to be like, here's all my business. But for me to alchemize it, that would be so weird if I just came up to you and be like, so let me tell you what I did last night. That would be so weird. I don't want to waste your time. But if I want to take something that I've experienced in my life and have it to be of service to you, then I will represent it in my work. And then I do try to be as private as I can, about my personal life. Again, not because I'm trying to be secretive, but because I feel like I got to do that to protect the people in my life, to make sure I have something for myself, and to make sure that I'm using my platform wisely. I don't want to give you bullshit. I don't want to give you bitter ass tea.
Truly. And you touched on it too, like it is therapeutic. Like I wasn't in real therapy till like last year, and there's something so great about being able to work that out, like whether you're in the writer's room or on screen or just doing it with yourself. Like there's just it really is just, it's fulfilling in that way to kind of examine yourself and to be a bit more self-aware. So in that way, like the art is the purest form, and that separation is also like, oh, I got it out, and now it's out of me in a way, and now it's for you. Like that part of the story is for you.
And again, the brilliance of the character Issa Dee is that she was also living that in her own universe, where she's figuring out how her personal life affects her business and how her security and who she is as a person in her everyday life can make her expand in her world and her career and help her to have clarity and define who she wants to be. And so I want to know, for you, graduating from Awkward Black Girl, Insecure, what that world was for you. What is that end game? In the same way that we figured out what it was for Issa Dee, what is it for Issa Rae that this next chapter for you has been about?
Jesus Christ. It's something
I know it's been about so much.
Yeah, and it's about honing, and honestly, like that's what I've been trying to like lock in on what that is specifically, because it extends beyond the entertainment industry to me. And I have found that community is really important to me, and building, and that can be done via storytelling really effectively, in terms of using a platform to shine a light on things that I care about, that are issues. But it's also about doing the work. And I'm like, what's my version of doing the work? I don't want to be in politics, but I can affect politics. I can, create or collaborate in programs. But the next chapter of my life, I think, will be more philanthropic in a way that isn't like, I'm not Mother Teresa in this, but I'm like, I care and I want to make sure that I'm not just doing things that are useless in the long run. It is about building legacy.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
I feel like me growing up and my experience of going on Tyler Perry sets and seeing how everybody there is like community vibes, I felt a similar thing with you, from even down to the Black-owned water bottles that we were using. And I don't know that people understand, like, that's a real commitment, so like for you, like, was that something that you say to the people on your team, and they make sure that, hey, this is important to Issa, we have to make sure that we have something Black owned, something, like, how did you start making that because it's not something that we can do on our own. I think people just think, oh, just do it and just say it, but you do have to have people help carry that out. So how did you make sure that was something that was a part of your brand and your production company?
I'm so glad you said that, because it's something that people have to be like-minded to also be able to carry that out. So it starts with conversations of like, what can we do and how can we help? And if I'm not working with a like-minded, costume designer in Ayanna James and Shiona Tarini, like, who are like, well, we're gonna get Black designers, that's our part. Or
that's right.
If in the props department, them seeing the ethos and being like, okay, well, I found this great Black-owned wine company and we got this, and like that's those conversations happen. And once people see other people are doing it, then it's such an easy thing to do. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And I think once people realize that, and that they're mission aligned already, then it becomes easier. And that's kind of what I look for in collaborators, is just that general awareness, people who are mission driven. And it's disappointing when they're not, but it's like, then I don't need to work with you.
Yeah. I think that's also something that is good leadership, is the fact that you can empower other people to have leadership and that their voices matter. And you've spoken a lot about also having, connecting to your peers, connecting to your community and your network of like-minded people. So I think that just echoes that same thing. I'm curious of what the hardest part about being a leader has been, or that you've learned in, having to be the leader of something that could be helpful to other people that are entrepreneurs.
I think general balance of management. Leadership is its own job. And when it comes to like being a creator, it comes to having multiple businesses, like your focus is shifted. And I think it's really important, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, to put resources in reading and learning how to be the best leader you can be. And if not, to devote resources to the person that you want to run your stuff. I think that's something that I've had to learn along the way, is just like, as hands-on as I am and as controlling as I am, I need help. And I can't, there's certain skill sets that I'm just not equipped for yet, because I don't have the time to be the best, and I want to be the best. So that's been a learning curve. And also just nipping things in the bud when they happen. Sometimes you could see something a mile away and just be like, I'll get to that later. Like, or maybe they'll figure it out on their own. Like, they'll handle that. That'll be handled. And then if I had just addressed it in the moment when I saw it, then I would have saved myself conflict or time or whatever it is. And I've gotten a bit better about being like, let me nip this shit in the bud right now.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the same way, because sometimes I think being a leader, especially if you're somebody that's like not trying to always be like, I'm the boss of this motherfucker, then you can find yourself like, oh, wait a minute, people actually want me to be like, I'm the boss of this, and set some stuff straight. Because you're thinking about like, I don't know, like I'm trying to make sure I'm supporting everybody's individuality, but then it does, as a leader, it is kind of hard when you're a chill person to be like, no, I'm the person that's got to set up and be like, but then knowing when the time to do that is right and when not. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to be reductive, but it is like how they say that, like, kids need discipline. And obviously everybody's adults here, but we crave discipline, we crave order, we crave like knowing a direction. And that's why you have to be confident in putting your foot down in certain instances.
Yeah, I'm definitely learning that myself. So I want to ask you because I think you do a great job at, obviously you're so huge in terms of representation, not just for women, but friendships, for millennials, for Black peoples. The list goes on. But that's also a lot of pressure. So I'm curious of how you manage your personal perspective and then just what people expect to hear or see about us. Like how much, when do you have to let go of over being conscious about what you're representing?
I don't think about it at all, honestly, until it's coming out, until
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh shit, like this is how people are viewing it. But when I'm making something, it really is just like what I want to see. I don't think I'm carrying anything on my back. Like I just want to make the best possible product. And it also comes just innate. It's inherent for me to like think about the audience that I'm thinking about, whether that's, my friends and family who are mostly Black. Like that's what
Yeah.
I think about. And then it gets wider from there. But I feel like I would get tired if I was constantly thinking like, "Oh, they want so much from me."
I want to know what you thought and what you and your team came to when you guys ended Insecure because I personally
Oh.
really loved and appreciated the way that it ended. And I'll tell you why. Because, first of all, I do think that love can be messy. I'm not saying it has to be toxic, but I think that dealing with human beings is not easy at any point. You know, and we talk and give love and basketball drama and all the romantic classics drama, but I do think there's part of that that is true, that somebody's got to be brave, and it's
Mhm.
not about gender biases, but somebody's got to say, hey, you know what, we both messed up, but let's get there together. And what I loved about the ending of Insecure, with Issa Dee being such a career driven person, so smart, so amazing, all these things, that she got to define what love was for her without, he needs to be this and he needs to be that. And once
Mhm.
this happens, he's done, girl. Where she was just like, I love this man. And if he had
Mhm.
this baby and I still want to be with this man, I'm still going to be with this man. I don't give a fuck what y'all think and how that makes me less of a woman. And I got to be Black and strong. And look, I'm good. He's good. We're good. I know y'all had to be talking about that because
Oh
you
my
know
God,
that's big for
yes.
us in our
Of
community when it comes
course.
to these men's, girl. And
Of
so,
course.
a lot of people were like, she should have just ended with her bestie. And it's like, but what, she wanted love though, you know? And so how did you guys decide that was the best thing to do? Because it told me so much about you, and I really appreciated that messaging.
Thank you. And I love just what you said. Somebody's got to be brave. Like that is, I'm about to write that down because it's so real in so many of like, when it comes to pride too, there's so much
Oh,
pride in our decisions, and there's bravery in putting our pride aside and going after what you want unapologetically. And there were definitely discussions in the room. I was opposed to it initially, and I went on my own journey because I know I just said I don't think about like the audience, but when something's already on the air, like Insecure, there's always pressure in series finales. And that question
yes,
of
it's
like, does
important.
Issa, it's important and it's long lasting if you do it right. And I like that people are talking about it. I like that people are mad about it and have questions. And I like that people love it, obviously. But, for
Mm-hmm.
me, I had to separate my own personal biases and what I wanted for the character, what I wanted for myself from Issa Dee, and I had to objectively look at like her journey. And we had set this Lawrence is her soulmate. I don't care what nobody says. That
That's
was
it.
her soulmate, and we wrote it that way. And like I think for me, what
Ah,
I was going back and forth about was just, yeah, that like the empowering thing that you just mentioned of just like she chooses herself or she chooses her best friend. She does choose her best friend. She already did that. There was a love story about Issa and Molly, but like if I'm watching something and somebody's like, I choose me, that's not for me. I'm sorry. I hate shit like that because it's such a
and it
message.
doesn't feel like it's for you either. It feels like it's for other people that you're
It
like, I'm
feels like it's for
choosing
other
me.
people, yeah, and it's on display, and it's just like, "Go Black girl," and it's like, that's not the story that I wanna tell. That's already a part of it. Go Black girl is always what it is. So for me,
Exactly.
it was about, like, this is what this girl loves this man, and she has grown. They have grown separately and helped each other to grow. They found their way back to each other, and this obstacle happened. But, like, as long as they love each other and they're committed to each other and committed to making it work, what's the problem?
I just love you for that, forever and always. Just so, so good. So I want to get into a little bit of your mentorship and also how that feeds into the work you do with your production company, because you started working with Sarita Singleton in a workshop you had. And from there, I mean, she started working on Insecure, and then obviously she wrote One of Them Days. So what was the process of building something like that? Because here we are again at the basis of community and then also entrepreneurship. You know, I don't think a lot of people have systems, especially people like us, that they can be a part of that will help them graduate to getting to where they want to go. So what was the process of you getting something like that off the ground?
Yeah, it's so interesting because like I never thought about it as mentorship because I felt like I was growing too, and it really started from a
Yeah.
place of just fandom. Like, oh man, I really like this girl's writing, and I want to see it on screen. Like, how can I use whatever resources I have to ensure that that happens while still continuing to build my own stuff up? And I feel
Yeah.
like I'm really grateful to her because she like that reading that inspired a whole different division of the company, which ultimately became a management
Yes.
company. And so like I always talk about the importance of like looking next to you and building with the person who you're trying to grow with, because that also just it allows you both to find avenues. She's successful on her own. I'm successful on my own, and we can still come together and create. And like that is a model I've tried to replicate with so many other writers and will continue to. But it's just it starts with I love your work and I want to see you succeed.
Period. One of Them Days. Obviously, she wrote that. How did she pitch that to you? Was the script already done, or was she kind of like, I got an idea for this thing?
So it started with this when Denise and I first started Color Creative, it was about
Shout out Denise.
trying to shout out to Denise Davis, trying to replicate the model of Awkward Black Girl, where I was able to create something online. People got excited about it. It got networks' attention, and then it got, a TV deal. And so for me, I was like, what if I could create these low budget pilots? And that's how I initially
Yes.
met Sarita. And then through that, studios heard about us. So Sony, Columbia, they were like, hey, can we do a program like that? And we can find first time screenwriters. And so she was one of 5 selected with the pitch that she had for what was then known as the Jungles. And the Jungles was going through gentrification. She, spent a lot of time there in her youth. And for me, it was just an instant, like, you've done it again, girl. It's hilarious. It reminds me of those movies in the 90s. And it's about female friendship. It's fun. But it took a long time to get out the ground. But like for you, when you read it, what was it? What stood out to you?
I feel the same exact way that you said. I immediately went back to, oh my gosh, this reminds me of the movies I grew up watching and loving. And I feel like it only comes from people like us. That's the bottom line truth, is that our stories are always going to be the best coming from us because we know our culture inside out and out. And sometimes it does mean us coming together and doing it quickly in 20 days because that's what we got, y'all. And we got to work together. We got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember thinking about it with Queen Latifah, the projects that I've done with her from the ground up. One of my favorite movies I ever did was Brotherly Love. And I feel the same way about One of Them Days. It's a thing that, for me, growing up in the industry, I started out at 9 years old. It wasn't until I got into my mid to late 20s where people like you existed, where the barriers had been broken down of behind the scenes. And like now, not only are we in front of the camera doing it, people of color, but like they're also really writing the stories. And that's not to say that we didn't have people in the writer room before. Of course we did, but to also have the cachet for people, for Sony to say, Issa, we trust you. People don't know how tough that is to get through. And it's taken years in our industry. And I just, I continue to like, yes, we moving on. Let's get more and more and more, because that's what it really takes also to get the kind of movies that we want in front of the cameras, is people like us telling the stories. And I love that you champion Sarita in this way, because she really did grow up in that area. You know what I'm saying? Like, she from the Jungles, and that's what people don't know. That used to be the name, but then we had One of Them Days.
Yeah. We had to change it to not offend. One of Them Days is a good title. I'll give it to some battles you fight. It's a good title.
Yeah, again, that's when we got to go to the collaboration vibe, and it's like, okay, we collaborate.
Exactly.
We're figuring it out together. You win some, I win some type vibe.
Exactly.
I'm very excited about One of Them Days. It's exciting. Again, I don't want to be biased, but I enjoyed the movie just as a person myself that want to go to the theaters and have fun. And I cannot wait till people see it, Issa. Like, seriously, thank you again.
So we were on this marketing meeting, and Josh Greenstein, who's the head of marketing at Sony, likened you to Lucille Ball. Have you heard that before? People have said that.
My mom would say, like, look, because my parents are old and vaudevillain types and love all the theatrical stuff. So they used to say that kind of thing.
It makes so much sense. And I think what I'm most excited about, like, in seeing you in this role is obviously, like, yeah, you are a leading lady. You've been a leading lady countless times. Everybody knows that you're hilarious, but I don't know that we've seen you in this way, on the big screen, as a lead, being your whole acting hilarious, dramatic, beautiful self. And that's like what's so exciting. And like, people know that you're a star, but this is like, she's a fucking star. And I can't wait to see what else comes from this, because they already are, but they'll be knocking at your door for even more opportunities in the spaces that you deserve to play in. So I hope this is just the start of something greater and greater and greater. But I'm so excited to just have you.
Me too. And I mean, also, we were already, I'm just going to say it right now because, manifesting queen, manifesting generator. I mean, you producing the Heartbreakers movie with me and Angela Bassett. Maybe that's what's going to, maybe that's what's going to be coming next. Once I say it, girl, it ends up happening.
It's true. Okay, listen, my mission.
I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this relationship between me and Hooray Media.
Let's go.
I could talk to you all day, Issa, but I know you're a very busy lady. Just make sure you have some more Via Ray at my house for my holiday party this week.
No problem. And come to Somerville. We have reservations for you whenever you want to come.
Can you please comp me a little meal? Just give me a little comp. I'm real cheap.
You're rich, but fine. For you. Sure.
Before we go, we got to get into a little bit of a game. I do it with all my guests. This one is called Here For It or Nah, okay? I'm going to give you some questions, maybe some potential New Year's resolutions, and you tell me whether you're here for it or nah.
Easy.
Cool. I love that we had to get a water sip before then. Okay. No more binge watching reality TV shows. Here for it or nah?
Nah, that's all I do. That's my comfort zone. We talked about the dating shows. I'll watch every single dating show that exists.
Babe, I'm done with JR on Ultimatum. No shade, no tea. I'm also done with Scotty. I need them to be eradicated. I'm sick of this.
All of them. From Love is Blind and Ultimatum, the men have disappointed me. So much. To the point where I'm not watching Love is Blind anymore. I'm not. I'm done. They've sold me too many dreams.
It's crazy. Okay, giving up caffeine. Here for it or nah?
Nah, that's like 4 cups a day at least. You're a coffee drinker?
It's bad for me too. Girl, it's bad for me. I be drinking it, girl, and I thought I was always that person that was like, I've got natural energy until I turned 30. And then it all was done with.
Same.
It's crazy. Okay, giving up alcohol, here for it or nah? I feel like these are all going to be nah, because what the hell?
Yeah, this is nah. I'm sorry I got Via Ray. I'm out here and I'm about to get into it tomorrow night. Like, no, sorry.
By the way, I loved when you told me what the Via and Via Ray meant. It's like with Ray. So I feel like I'm sipping my drink with Ray, like Issa Rae. Very cute. Love what you did there.
Thank you, kindly.
Okay, setting better boundaries with friends, here for it or nah?
Yeah, I'm always here for setting clear boundaries. My friends understand. Like, I don't have to do too much, but boundaries are good.
Period. Less screen time. Here for it or nah?
I'm here for it. I really want to try that.
Yeah.
Do you do social media screen cleanses? Because that's my...
I need to, but girl, I'm on that phone morning, noon, and night. I want to be that person that gives those eyes a rest, but I haven't been.
I go through my breaks and they're good for me.
Well, maybe that needs to be my resolution. Okay, waking up earlier, here for it or not?
Always here for waking up earlier. I'm an early riser.
Come on, boss. Yes, the early bird gets the worm, they say.
Okay.
And this is the last one. This is going to be interesting to hear you say this because you are a Capricorn and, naturally being ambitious runs into your blood, but also you be like, I need to rest. So I'm interested in what you'll say for this one. Setting more goals. Here for it or not?
Definitely setting more goals because my goals are also about pulling back because I do too much. So it is like refining. That's the year of, it's going to be the year of refinement, the years of refinement, I should say.
Yes, and I want to take a page out of that book with you too, girl. I got to reel it in, but
Girl,
in the best
I be tired
way.
thinking about your schedule. So I hope so.
You are amazing. I know I said this already, but I'll say it again. And thank you for coming onto the show. Can't wait to see you next.
Thank you, Keke. See you soon.
See you soon. Issa is just so good at taking the raw material of life and transforming it into something that really stings and makes us laugh at the same time. I think my biggest takeaway is that fictionalizing your personal life isn't about hiding from the truth. It's about exploring it in a way that shows us a different side of what's already there. So get out there and write some stories and then ask yourself what those stories say about you. I'll see you next time because it's your girl.
Baby,